And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Sports. It is a Saturday afternoon. Get yourselves ready because we have got a return of our local sides. A South African derby awaits us in just under 10 minutes. And what a game it's set to be. Stormers versus the Bulls down in Cape Town, a sold-out DHL Stadium. Should be absolutely epic. And after last weekend's worth of Six Nations action, we've now got a little bit of local flavor to our weekend. We still will have Six Nations action. We will be live for our two featured games of the day. The first one being England versus France tonight at 5:45, while Scotland versus Ireland will also be doing tomorrow at 5 o'clock. But today, all eyes are on Cape Town. And the Bulls, well, they've had a bit of a struggling few sort of months, but still looking very good when it comes to the URC log, and very much wants to make sure they keep themselves in that sort of top four. If you look at the Stormers, for example, they've actually had much better recent form, and now need to try and continue that into the URC as they try and get themselves up. Currently sitting down in 12th place with the game on hand, though. So a bonus point win, for example, would take them up to 26 points, which actually put them tied with Munster in 7th and have put them in the top 8. A loss for them, for example, and suddenly they'd be on the same amount of games as the rest, and they could still potentially be under them. For example, you look at the Lions, they've got 2 games in hand. 2 wins for them would put them at least 27 points. If they were to get 2 bonus point wins, the Lions could actually get as close as high as 5th, which is where the Sharks are, but they've also got a game in hand. So lots and lots to play for this afternoon, and very excited to see how it all sort of pans out. Let me know what your score predictions are down in the comments below. And then a big shout out. We are doing weekend takeovers at the moment. And this weekend's takeover is brought to you by Ubuntu Capital Financial Planning. So a big shout out to them. And they can help you. So stop thinking about your retirement funding and start taking action. With benefits including loyalty bonuses, enhanced allocations, and retirement boosters, our Investo retirement annuity has to be the best product in the market. Instead of paying more tax to SARS, use tax deductions and get SARS to help you save even more for your retirement. Contact Ubuntu Capital today and get a free personalized retirement plan. Link is in the description. So shout out to Ubuntu Capital. They've given me a potential retirement plan. So I mean, I might not only be here for a few more weeks, and then I might just call time on the good old career and go and retire. Thanks to the work from Winter Capital. So make sure you go and check them out. Right, people, let's get some score predictions going. We're going to go to the teams and miles. I'm going to close the window because they decided apparently at 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon is a good time to start doing the weed whacking. It's just unacceptable. Right, so now I don't have to worry about listening to that, which is just as well. So, yeah, we also got a poll running in the comments asking who you think is going to win the clash. Stormers currently with 57% of the votes. Seem to be the clear favourites. And which is interesting considering that the Bulls are much significantly higher than they are in the log. So the Bulls currently sitting with 6 wins out of 8 games with 2 losses. They've also got 2 games in hand. So 2 wins for them would put them above Glasgow Warriors. They'd have to get 2 bonus point wins to get themselves within 10 points of Leinster. Currently on 48 points, the perfect record of 10 games, 10 wins, 8 bonus points. So, and interesting, sort of, we look at the teams in which we go, well, in just a second, quite a lot of rotation and quite a few injuries across both sides. So the Stormers, the front row, they've got Steve Tolle, Joe Stuever, and France Verhoeven. It's a very solid front row. Backed up by Salman Murat and Ruben van Heerden. You then got Dion Free, Ben Jason Dixon, and Evan Ruiz. It's a very good pack for the Stormers. And unfortunately, I think it's one of those things you've got a really strong pack. Maybe not the backline quite that they'd like to have to be able to match it. But their backline looks like something like this. Stefan Unger starts the number 9 jersey. He'll partner Yuri Matia in that half-back pairing. Leon Zas, Ben Loda, Watchalong to the back 3. In the midfield is Dan Duplessis next to Wanasir Similani, who'll be looking to try and punish his former side. For the Bulls, off the pine into the front row, it goes Jan Hendrik Wessels, you think in loose head. He's starting next to Jan Kobler and Volko Lowe. So the front row battle should be very interesting. You've then got Kubas Visa and Jay van Heerden in the second row. Marcel Garcia, Ludwig, and Cameron Hanekom in that back row. Quite a youthful Bulls pack. Amos Pierre will partner Billy LaRue at number 10. The first time he'll start for the Bulls in number 10 jersey. He did play most of the season at 10. When he was playing in Japan a few seasons ago, but hasn't played in the number 10 jersey in South Africa for a while, apart from that half he played against the Lions. Harold Forster, Dale Creel, 2 in the midfield, Sergio Peterson, Kane Moody, and Devin Williams your outside backs. Ak van der Merwe, Karel Steelekamp, Francois Klopper, your reserve front row for the Bulls. Ruben Vermaak, Nizam Carr backing up the rest of the pack. Zach Berger, Buddha Chamberlain, Sebastian de Klerk will cover that back line. So interesting to see what the different sort of small battles are. You know, the line-out battle, the scrum battle, the backline battle, and all the various different things they've got to try and compete with. So lots to keep an eye out and lots to look forward to as we sort of build up. In 3 minutes' time, we will have kickoff. So get yourself a beverage. I've got myself some beers because I'm going off to cricket later. So I'm going to start with that. Basically start the pre-drinks now. So, and a big welcome to Jason Yonkers, the latest member to the Ferbuary Supporters Members Club. So thank you very much for joining and supporting the channel. It's always very much appreciated. As you can see them popping up on the screen there. So a big shout out to Jason Yonkers, our first member of the day. Morning Ferbuary, by the way, taking up charge in the middle today. Griffin Colby and Sean Immelman. Sean Mayer, rather, Quinton Immelman will be in the TMO. It is a packed out DHL stadium. I'm going to be there actually in a few months. Going to be going to my first game in Cape Town, which I'm very excited about. JP said, let's go. Looking forward to this clash. Just please no Springbok injuries. Very good point. You know, especially when it comes to these when it comes to the derbies and the likes of that, I really think that we pull out all the stops, and I think that hopefully we're going to not let the players get too over excited and see some of those injuries, which is kind of where the issue comes sometimes. Jenny Martin checking in saying, Jenny Martin watching from Friendel. Welcome, Jenny. Nice to have you. Right, so as you can imagine, Bulls will be playing in their white kits today. I think the Stormers will be playing in, yep, there you go. Caden Moody, by the way, playing his 50th cap in the URC. He could go on to play about 300 caps, given how young he is, and starts today on the wing, which is where I think he's the best. I don't think he should be playing any other position besides wing, to be honest. I don't really back him as an outside centre just yet. Maybe in the future as he sort of starts to build, but for me, very much still an outside wing, I think, is where he should be playing most of his rugby. As he leads the Bulls out in his 50th appearance for the Bulls. Big shout out to him and congratulations to him. Now the Bulls coming out. Bulls very much, I think, wanting to make a statement. And I'm very keen to see how Billy LaRue's going to go at 10. That should be a big... I think it'll be a big change moving forward. I think we'll see him in 10 for quite a while. In fact, many sort of indications sort of saying that they might be trying to keep him, locking him down as the 10 option moving forward. And looking to maybe bring in more of a 15. On that mode, Ahmed actually saying, yeah, Bulls should sign Tyron Green because they're using Vulu as 10. If Tyron Green comes back to South Africa and goes to the Bulls, I will probably cry. You can come back to South Africa, but come straight back to the line. My boy, we've been waiting for you. We've been waiting for you. Come home. You know, come home. Now, Selma will be leading out the Bulls in the home kit, the blue of the home kit. Lots of young fans there ready to high five as they're going on. And they'll come out to thunderous applause down in the DHL Stadium. Right, 66 votes on our poll. Just the 8 likes. 70 people watching. Please do smash a like on the video. Let's get that likes up to, 19, 20 likes. And again, big shout out to Ubuntu Capital, who are taking over the weekend here at Forever Sports. Check out a free personalized retirement plan from them. Link in the description. Start planning for retirement. I've not been very good at doing that. So thankfully, we changed a lot to Ubuntu Capital and getting ourselves sorted. And basically, it's about, how do I afford this in the retirement? This is the important thing. How do we make sure we've got beers for retirement? How do we make sure we've got enough beers until retirement? These are the questions. And Ubuntu Capital can go and sort you out. So you go check out that link in the chat as well as the description. And score predictions, people. I want short score predictions coming down into that chat box. Let's get ready for a great weekend of rugby. Some Six Nations cracking stuff coming up to this weekend today and tomorrow. As look at that stadium, looks nice and full. Still a lot of players coming in. Bulls will be receiving kickoff, and the Stormers will be playing right to left. And on that note, it's a bit tight. best sound in the world. We're going to pop the beers. We're going to say cheers. And we're going to get going as youe Mattia gets us going. And while taking Cameron Honeycomb after going through the hands there of a lot of he's already just bumped off of Steve Satolia. He's still going as Cameron Honeycomb. This kid is special. And he rounds one of the players, eventually brought down by Evan Hurst, opposite number, who's actually probably competing with him right now, trying to get in front of the number 8 race. Wilco Lowe gets a hard hit from Salman Murat and Francois Herber. Very nice start there from Cameron Honeycomb. Now Moscow hit hard in the tackles. A nice physicality. Villaloo, his first touch at 10. Ball over the top on the bounce. Kane Moody steps inside. Gets away from Leon Zas. Eventually brought down. Bulls having lost 10 meters over there. But still with ball in hand as Ambrose Pierre surveys for his options. He goes to the left-hand side. First touch of the day for Reina Ludwig, the youngster, playing in the number 7 jersey today. Very much thinks of himself as a kind of a Pierre Steph the Toy type of player in terms of the way he likes to play the game. And kind of who he tries to model his game on as Ambrose Pierre goes to the boot. Kane Moody will give chase, and it'll be a tough one for youe Mattia. But Moody does get it back inside to the hands of Cameron Honeycomb. He's been very involved early on. Ambrose Pierre, quick ball here to Villaloo. Villaloo looking for options. Long pass onto the angle there to Devin Williams. Now Devin Williams got his turn of pace. Goes to Creel. Creel with the pace outside. He got Cyril Pearson to his left. Goes to Cyril Pearson. Is anybody in front of him? Cyril Pearson comes back inside. Brought down by Dan Duplessis. Pick up and go here from Ambrose Pierre. Gets the ball. And straight over goes Cobus Visa. That is an electric start from the Bulls. The Stormers caught napping, to be perfectly honest. I don't think they expected that kind of start. And goodness me, well, Jake White smiling, as he should be, because that is absolutely brilliant. Well, from the first touch of the ball, Cameron Honeycomb getting involved. He had another touch over there, but the Bulls, the ball retention there, the appreciation of space, absolutely superb. And if you want to try and quieten down a Cape Town crowd, scoring early is essential, and they have done exactly that. So you couldn't have asked for a better start if you're a Bulls fan. Ambrose Pierre as well, and it's a nice line being run there. Very good work all around as Cobus Visa gets the congratulations. Creel taking the kicking, by the way, and misses. I think he actually comes with the crossbar there, Creel. So that's obviously the big issue at the moment. You don't have a natural goal kicker for the Bulls with that injury to Johan Goosen and not starting Buddha Chamberlain. So that's the kind of, I suppose, one of the problems if you go to Villaloo at 10 is a lack of a goal kicking option. But if we create tries, and like I mean, they passed nicely there, was getting Devin Williams into that space. Then you don't have to worry too much about a goal kick, I suppose. As Cameron Honeycomb once again carries it up, this time brought down well by the 2 Stormers props. Ball over the top now. Tester here for it's been loaded, not completely forward. We'll go into touch. The Bulls will have the option of either a scrum or a line out. It'll be interesting to see what they take. Personally, actually, if I was the Bulls, I wouldn't mind. And they're taking it quickly, actually, had the line out. So really up the ante of the Bulls. Cameron Honeycomb fighting hard. The tackle eventually brought down. Ball available here for Ambrose here. And he goes back into Devin Williams in the pocket. He's got that left boot of his. Finds a bit of space, but into the hands of youe Mattia. Right? What can the youngster conjure up? He sees a bit of space on the left-hand side, especially about 50-22, but he's overcooked it as youe Mattia. Straight into touch. So not a good start here for the Stormers. A very good start here from the Bulls. Nice idea that from youe Mattia. He saw the fact that there's nobody back for the Bulls, searching for that 50-22, maybe searching a bit too hard in the end. And it'll be a Bulls line back inside the Stormers territory, about halfway between the halfway line and the 10-meter line. They'll be looking at the VIPs. There's the Bulls CEO watching on. Must be nice, eh? You're one of the executives just having a little weekend in Cape Town. You know, make sure you go and represent and talk to all the big wigs down there. Villaloo goes pretty flat to Marcel Coetzee. Now Ambrose Pierre wants to go straight to the boot. Kane Moody's going to give chase, and it's going to run in between. And he gets it high to Kane Moody. I don't know if he's actually not that forward. Eventually, he's gone back here as Leon Zas, and he's under a bit of pressure there, but I think it's knocked on from Kane Moody, so they'll go back initially for the first knock on. But it's a perfect kick from Ambrose Pierre, really teasing one in between Warwick and Leon Zas. Kane Moody manages to get ahead of them, but not managing to knock it backwards. But at the moment, well, the Stormers can't move. They can't get out of trouble. They can't get anything into the game at the moment. Whilst the Bulls at the moment can't do anything wrong. LFG earlier, I want to say, come on, Bulls, and then very, very happy with that start. And we're going to close off that poll. So he's going to win 107 votes. Stormers getting the most votes. I think a couple of people started changing their vote to the Bulls, but after 107 votes, 52% saying the Stormers. My next question is going to be, who would you start at number 8 for the Springboks between Cameron Harnicom and Evan Ruiz, the two number 8s today? Big internal battles. A huge scrum that came from the Bulls, but the Stormers do manage to use it. Youe goes to the boot with a bit of time. Doesn't look like he's looking to find touch either. So onto the bounce there to Devin Williams. Devin Williams sort of chips in behind. And Mattia does grab it. But now there's nobody back really for the Stormers. But it's not a great kick as he skews it inside. And it goes to the hands of, I think it's Kaden Moody's actually kicked in behind towards Warwick-Land. Bit of the bounce of the ball's done him a little bit here. And he has to grab it on the fly. But now with a space of Warwick-Land. He's wrapped up well. Goes to Dweba and Steve Story comes back to secure that ball. Stormers with possession just outside the 22. Salam Murat puts his head down, hit hard by Marcel Garcia. Now we're fighting to try and get himself down to the ground. Is the Stormers captain. Mattia now goes to a contestable. Want to see the Similani. Ben Loader there as well. Ben Loader managed to claim it as well. Very nicely won by Ben Loader. Bit of momentum now for the Stormers for the first time. And yet, the man we are talking about gets over, wins the penalty at the breakdown. His name is, of course, Cameron Harnicom. So good at the breakdown. That kind of moment. Why lots of people are talking about him as being a number 6 replacement, potentially for Siya Khaleesi, more than just a number 8 replacement, because he is so good at the breakdown. And he is. He's remarkable at the breakdown. Very strong. Doesn't miss it. Oh, he's mistouched though, yeah, very. So Yuri Mattia now will be able to kick the Stormers further downfield. Does find touch, but he's managed to get them outside of the 22. Still advantage Bulls, really, but not as far down into 22 as they'd like to have been, as the Bulls looking to try and score their second try. 5 points to 0 after just over 7 minutes so far. And that poll between Evan Ruiz, very neck and neck at the moment. It keeps sort of changing between one and the other. So keep voting in that poll. Very interested to see how that's going to go. First line of the day for the Bulls, and it's well taken from Cobus Visa. Marcus Garcia pops up to Johan Kobler coming around the corner. He pops to Devin Williams. Devin Williams goes to Sergio Peterson. There's kick though. Has come into the hands of one. See the Similani, a bit of space. Similani puts it to the boot. And it's going to run out. If he managed to keep it in Similani, you can see the frustration from him. It could have been on because it was very much going to be a bit of a race to the pace. But just slipping out there from the kick from one Steelson line. But well defended initially by the Stormers and a good clearance. And the kick from Sergio Peterson just going into the boost there of Similani. He then managed to get up and retake it on with one hand. He had Ben Loader starting to come around, which is why he put it to the boot. But unfortunately for him, not managing to get it as straight as he liked. Bros appear now, goes to the boot. Puts it high in the air, a couple of chases after it. Now Khalan wants to come back down. Khalan seeing a bit of space for himself. Gets away from Kobler. Pops it up now to France Moherba, who's there. Ball goes backwards off the hands, or forward off the hands of the Bulls. Back in his position. Oh, nice inside ball there from tier 2, Ruben van Heerden. Nice deft touch there from the Stormers fly half. And the penalty coming. So Stormers are trying to get themselves back in the game. Youe Mattia now can go to the corner. Yeah, thanks, Rob Martin. I believe it wasn't working, but it is back up and running. So the scoreboard is there now. Thanks for letting me know. Oh, they also, or do they find touch? Yeah, they thought they kept it in there at the Bulls. Wildlife SA saying go Bulls. And you can just see there, not rolling was the issue there. Harold Forster on the ground, and one of the players from the Bulls trying to compete for it while he's in the way. And therein lied the issue. So Joseph Dweber goes to Ruben van Heerden. Ben Jason Dixon, it's a nice line out. Now he goes and adds his weight. Does Joseph Dweber looking to go the rolling more here? Our Stormers are 5 meters out. What can they now conjure up? Joseph Dweber breaks. Powerfully drives into Caden Moody and Villarreal up to the task. No option for Stephen Unger. Eventually goes to Ben Jason Dixon, who's working hard in the tackle. I'll tell you what, they're almost over there. Dion Ferry dragging him along. And Unger goes straight to Ruben van Heerden. Gets the ball. Oh, Frostmo Herbert goes over. Nothing like seeing the fridge scoring a try. He puts in the dive as well. There are earthquakes in Cape Town. Everything is shaking. And Frostmo Herbert is on the scoreboard. Things you love to see, eh? Things you love to see. There's nothing better than seeing a tight head dive over the try line. Absolutely nothing better. Very, very well done there by the Stormers. From the line out, from the a couple of good offloads, good awareness and the likes. Good rugby. And John Dawson will be one smiling there. Especially when you see Frostmo Herbert score tries. I mean, as I said, there's nothing better than seeing a tight head diving over the try line in all his glory. Right, and no mistakes this time from, from Young Matia. So, Stormers actually in the lead. Good take that from Watchalong from the kickoff. Ball over the top. And it's knocked backwards. Oh, it's a huge tackle coming from Evan Ruiz. And into the hands, actually, of Ben Lotus. So Stormers come away with it. Done very, very well there. And they go to the boot now. Stormers slightly overcooked there. Evan Williams very happy to just mark it and just calm things down a little bit. Devin Williams is just slowing things down, which I think is a good thing. I think after the Bulls had a really strong start, Stormers have gotten their way back into it. And not forward there, so it'll be a bull scrum. A bit frustrating that the Stormers being in such a good position and to then make that mistake. Not ideal at all. So scrum, yeah. Now Bulls early on had a very nice scrum, and you could see that. I think that was going to be an interesting a battle there throughout the game. So opportunity now for the Stormers to try and hit back after that first scrum where they weren't great. Let's see what Frostmo Herbert, Steve Tolle, and Joseph Dweber can produce this time. A couple of Stormers fans up in the comments there. John Smith throwing his weight behind Stormers or Via Pier. Penalty advantage from the Bulls. That scrum continues to look impressive. Devin Williams gets inside. Devin Williams, look at the pace from Devin Williams. Gets inside of Yomatia as well. Eventually, John Faries, of all men, had got across there to make the tackle and win the penalty for the Bulls. So you can already see there, I think we'll see the Bulls turn to that scrum as a weapon throughout the game with how dominant it is Very, very impressive so far. Nice carry there from the back of the Bulls lineup though, and Investo pops it up to Tubas Visa. And it's a nice line being run from United Investo, but he's left the ball behind, and they'll have a scrum here, all the Stormers. So good defense there. He's a bit frustrated with United Investo. He's not sure he knocked it on behind. I think it was pretty blatant if you ask me, but anyway. Robert Martin, yeah, as mentioned, the score there, 7 points to 5. The scoreboard does seem to be back and working, which is, actually, no, it's taking a bit while. Yeah, unfortunately, we're currently dealing with our issue with our data provider, which is really frustrating. So it should update very shortly. The point score is 7 points to 5. Imposter's Volcolo should be a Bok now. Seems to be our best scrummager at the moment, along with Ox. Well, he was there last end of the year, to be fair. JP is saying, power scrum, good footwork, Williams. Yeah, he's got such a good turn of pace, does Devin Williams. Penny puts throwing her weight behind the Bulls. We're going to have a reset here at scrum time. So reset as Morning Forever waits for everybody to bind up here. 17 minutes gone, 17 and a half minutes gone. 7 points to 5 is currently where the score stands. Just trying to sort out our scoreboard, which is not cooperating. Nothing more frustrating than when your data provider is slow or doesn't work, for example. Bulls with them on the left-hand side as well. Done by Oracle, but knock-on advantage going here. And eventually it's going to come back to Sergio Peterson, who's just short. Sergio Peterson. They had a knock-on advantage there to the Stormers. Into the Bulls, rather. Bernard Ludwig now just short. Pierre looking for options. He goes short to Jared Kromelar. How has he kept him away? It's Joseph Dweb. That's a phenomenal tackle. And now, once again, ball available. People going on Hendrik Vessels. He's over. This time, Warren Ferreira says no issue whatsoever with that grounding. And the Bulls hit back. Really good work. Very, very nice work. So physical, the United Vessels, and just very good awareness there. It's all coming up really, really kicks ball. And I mean, Watchalong does well to stop that ball. Then the kicker comes. Nobody can regather really. So Peterson comes away with it. And the United Vessels on the second attempt, after Jan Kobler short, he goes over and makes no mistake. Right, so 7 points to 12 is now where the score is. Yeah, very nice work for the Bulls to hit back, because Stormers are starting to get themselves a bit of a foothold in the game. The restart going to the right-hand side. It's not 4 from Cameron Honecourt. That's his first big mistake, and it's a big one, to be fair, because that's going to allow Stormers, after conceding a try, they're going to be able to have an opportunity to try and maybe hit back with a scrum inside the 22. And I don't know if it's the Sun here. He's just in the complete wrong position here. I mean, you can't be catching the ball up here. Cameron Honeycomb. Not ideal positioning at all. And I think the Sun's doing a little bit, quite a lot over there, because you can just see the first man, I think I want to say, was... I think it was Van Heerden who'd gone up there to try and take the ball, and it got completely wrong. And then Eamon Honeycomb also. So I don't know, maybe there's a bit of wind as well, which is maybe pushing the ball a little bit further than people are anticipating. Either way, it is a Stormers scrum. Stephen Ungerer with ball in hand. And a free kick really taking it from Stephen Ungerer. Can we go back to the action, please, broadcaster? What's going on here? No. Now they take it quickly. Dion Ferree. Hit by hard by Marcel Garcia, but penalty advantage for not being back 10, which is really sloppy. Ben Jason Dixon now. So a bit of a free roll of the dice, really, for the Stormers. And they'll go back for another free kick for not being 10. Stephen Ungerer still with the ball here. And they're about 10 meters away now, are the Stormers. What can they conjure up from a dead ball? Right, there we go. Evan Russ goes pretty high up, but makes a yard or two up towards the 5-meter line. Now, Francois Herbert, he's looking for a second try. Quick ball here. Ungerer goes to Ruben van Heerden. Good tackle that from David Creel. Getting himself up nice and quickly. Ungerer looking at options. Goes wide immediately. Ball back inside. Ball's bobbing around a little bit. It's actually been turned over by Kanan Moody. All the Stormers going to try and drag him out. No, he gets his feet, his knees to the ground. Very good work there. I don't think it was the right option that from Stephen Ungerer to go to skip past out wide straight to the wing. They had numbers there to the Stormers. Didn't really want to use them. Now JF van Heerden carries it up and gives Ambrose to Pierre a bit of an angle to work with. And he goes to the boot looking to try and find a good clearance, and it'll go over the head of Youe Matias. A very nice clearance. Very well done that from Ambrose Pierre. Good defense from the Bulls. Ahmed said, I would like to see Honeycomb at 6 rather than 8. I think you'll probably settle there, especially for the box perspective. I think we've got quite a lot of options at 8 man. You like the looks of Jasper Visa, Aaron Roos. That's before you even look at players like Quacker Smith and stuff. And knocked on from the Bulls, so it'll be a Stormers knock on. Bulls getting a little bit sloppy at the moment, under a lot of pressure from the Stormers. Stormers looking to try and bounce back after conceding that try. And Johan Krabbeler just not able to hold on to it as the ball went over the top. So 64 votes so far on that poll asking, who would you start at number 8 for the Springboks? Cameron Honeycomb or Evan Ruus? Keep voting on that. I'm very interested to see how people respond to that and what the thinking is. Nice start of scrum this time from the Stormers. Ungerer went down the right side, then checked, and up towards the touchline goes Leon Zas. Nicely work from the Stormers. They get a bit of ground, and Stephen Ungerer is pulled back into Evan Ruus. It's not the great one, but Evan Ruus gets away from one. Still fighting hard in the tackle. Here's Evan Ruus, looking very bright with ball in hand. Mathieu fires it out to Ruben van Heerden, who checks on the step. Quick boy here. Youe Mathieu shows and goes. Almost in between a gap. Brought down hard from JF van Heerden. Now on the right-hand side. Ball back inside from Dan du Plessis. Watchalong caught on the ball here by Harold Fast. He pops it up Dan du Plessis. Dan du Plessis trying to get away from David Creel. Not too much momentum yet for the Stormers. They do set up a ruck, and now this time Salman pops it up short to go to Ruben van Heerden. Oh, but an interception over here from... Oh, no! He's at a speed wobble as United Vessels. Done very well to put the ball out on the ground and get it up again. That could have been very interesting if he hadn't slipped there, because he's got a tremendous amount of pace for a loose head prop. Would have been very interesting to see if anybody could tackle him. But unfortunately for him, slipping now a bit really loose. He's a bit of space in behind. Searching for that 50-22 maybe. I think they actually might have been inside the Stormers territory. So it'll probably be a Stormers line. But back inside their own 22. Very nicely worked that from Villiers. But it's a brilliant interception. Youe Mathieu firing out far too predictable. And United Vessels and just the speed wobble. Could have been so interesting if he hadn't slipped. We saw at, I think it was against Australia, that support line he ran for one of the wings when they scored a try. He's immensely fast. these uninjured vessels. So if he had just managed to stay up, I would have loved to have seen a foot race between him, a couple of the wings, and I mean, once you get there, you actually then have to bring him down. So that's a big problem, isn't it? Well, Martin reckons Visa at 8, and Pastor saying he's missing Marnie. I think, yeah, everybody, we always miss Marnie. It's just so much fun to watch. Right, big defensive line shift for Stormers. They go everybody here. It's a good lineup though. Evan Ruiz been asked to carry, makes a yard or two. Good work that from Evan Ruiz. Ball available for Stefan Ungerer. And he's got a couple of options, including somebody in the pocket, but he goes himself. And Cyril Peterson, happy to watch that go well into the stands. So not finding a lot of ground there, Stefan Ungerer, but a decent clearance in the Bulls on the front foot. And it's been quite an exciting half so far, to be perfectly honest. I mean, we're sitting for just 15 minutes left in the first half, and we've seen 3 tries so far. We almost saw we've actually seen a 50-meter try coming from Hendrik Vessels. That could have been fun to watch. JP said, nothing like a prop with an intercept. Speed wobble even as he shifts up the gears. Well, the problem is, I mean, it's like a truck, isn't it? And you kind of have to, put the clutch in and Once he gets going, though, you're not stopping. I wouldn't stop him. I would just guide him through. Good more left from the Bulls. Not a little wrap around. Oh, I'll tell you what, it's interception central. But knocked on from the Stormers and ball back on Villaloo, who's under a lot of pressure. He'll basically say, listen, can we just have the scrum here, please? Stefan going down the stand. Sees a bit of space there for Kanan Moody. It's a bit of a fumble from Kanan Moody. Ball back inside, not forward. They'll go back to the initial knock on. Well, apparently it's the day of intercepts from the different teams, because that was, I think, Ben Lodu who came flying through to try and intercept the pass coming from Villaloo. Not successfully. And but still with enough of a chance, but not to a penalty for a knockdown example. It's Leland Zaks actually, and I tell you what, bit of a tackle, half tackle coming from Cyril Peterson as well. But interesting to have seen if he had managed to catch that, whether he would have gotten away from Cyril Peterson, and whether that could have then been try time. But they go back for the scrum for the Bulls, and there's a replacement here, and that is Jan Hendrik Vessel as well. So Jan Investo's going down the tunnel. I don't know if this could be a blood bin or an HIA. We saw JPF saying earlier, just no Springbok injuries, and he'll be somebody that Rassi will want to play a bit more this season. So not ideal to see him going down the tunnel. Yeah, we reset here. Morning Ferris says time off. Right, so yeah, a reminder, check out the link in the description to get a free personalized retirement plan courtesy of Winter Capital, who are doing our weekend takeover. The main thing is you can start funding for your retirement and getting yourself sorted. Instead of paying more tax to SARS, who wants to pay more tax to SARS? Use the tax deductions and get SARS to help you save even more for your retirement. Link in the description. As I said, they can give you a free personalized retirement plan and get you saving for your future. Because at the moment, all we want to do is have some beers, don't we? We're not really worrying about beers in 50 years. But at the end of the day, if we don't start planning now, there might not be beers in 50 years. So go and get the retirement plan. Get yourself sorted. As we have another stoppage in play. Is another stop. I hate scrums. I don't hate scrums. I hate reset scrums. Yeah, it annoys me. Yeah, I'm missing my fridge in my office. Gotta get some ice to keep these beers warm. Beers cold. These beers are getting warm without the fridge, therefore need ice to keep them cold. Get there in the end. 12 minutes left on the clock. Ambrose appear with the ball under his arm in front of a packed out DHL stadium. And there comes the shove. Chaos didn't come on, but still the set. Oh, I tell you what, he's doing a job in France by Herbert as well. Ambrose appear breaks with the Bulls having a penalty advantage. Long pass out wide towards Cyril Peterson. Hands off Ben Loder. Still going Cyril Peterson. Still on the offload as he's going down. Tomas Gutsia. He gets the offload to Reynald Ludwig. Very good continuity this year from the Bulls. Now Villaroo stabs it in behind. And they'll go back for the penalty. At the moment, very worrying signs for the Stormers because they just cannot cope with this Bulls scrum. And the ball's gone straight to David Creel, which means I imagine they're looking to take the points here. Currently sitting with a 5-point lead. Why not? Yeah, here comes the kicking tee. So this is trying to make it 15 points to 7, get them more than a try's length away from the Bulls. As you can see, the stadium is also filling up quite nicely, which is good to see. Shot clock is, by the time it takes, will be on the half-an-hour mark. Yeah, no issue there from Creel. Flags are raised, and the Bulls extend their lead after the half-hour mark. Well, the ball's coming back, and it goes back to the hands of Joseph Dweber, so knocked on by the Bulls. They've not dealt with Kickoffs particularly well after that first one there, which was very good from Cameron Honeycomb. The rest of them have been pretty awful, if you're going to be perfectly honest. Now, ball available for stepping under, penalty advantage for Stormers as well. They're going to go back for the penalty. So opportunity, maybe they just take the 3 points, to be honest, get themselves back within 5. Wouldn't be the worst idea, just to basically hit straight back. Maybe John Dobson thinking, yeah, looks like Warwick London's pointing towards the poles. I think that's what he wants to do. Yep, there comes the little DHL van. And youe Mateo will look to try and make this a 5-point game once again. Yeah, no mistakes there. Ball sails through the middle of the poles, and the Stormers get a few points back, so that'll be 10 points to 15. Stormers have been much better at kick receiving. There's a bit of pressure over there, but they do deal with it nicely. And back to the pocket is youe Mateo. This time he goes quite high. I'm not sure his backline was expecting that, taking a while to get there. So basically just forfeited possession. Devin Williams, long pass, but a good read. They came down to receive, but good hands from the Bulls. Devin Williams, a bit of pressure. Dion Free all over him like a rash. Ball away of Joseph Dweber. Joseph Dweber spins out the tackle, gets away from one, and gets away from another as well. Nice carry that from Joseph Dweber. Warwick to Similani with ball in hand. We haven't seen much of that. Decides to go to the boot. And that could be a phenomenal kick for him. It just needs to slow up. He's going to go a little bit too far. And almost really nice from him to see Similani. He kicked in behind, looking for that for the touch. But right, Imposter saying that's my Herbert on Steenkamp. Damn, yeah, literally. So I told you how impressive that was from Steenkamp. And JP saying David Creel goal kicking adversity, putting in the box pain potentially. Well, he used to try and find some way of getting him noticed by Rusty Erasmus and Jan Krobler on that ball brilliantly and winning it back off the kick. Really, really good work. And Villaroo now under a bit of pressure. He has to go all the way back, just off the outside of his left boot. Doesn't find touch into the hands there of Leon Zas. He's going to run it back. Bit of chip and chase could be on here, to be honest. And Leon Zas with a bit of space. Outside. Oh, I'll tell you what, everybody here had all the space in the world outside. The ball back inside is not good enough. I think there might have been a penalty advantage. Timothy saying, how's it going for sports? This new Bull squad is raising questions. Well, I don't think they're playing too badly at the moment. I'll tell you what. A couple of nice individual performances so far, but Storm has not been accurate enough. I think Stormers probably should be in the lead with the amount of chances they've had. Just haven't quite been accurate. Bulls, when they've been in that situation, they've been far more accurate. Love to look at the 22s, for example. Right, but now can Stormers hit back here? There's just over 5 minutes left. Last 2 penalties conceded was from the Bulls. Stormers score and they level it up with the kick to come. We go to Ben Jason Dixon. Joseph Dweber now adding his weight, looking to try and potentially looking to peel off the back like he did last time. He'll be monitoring potential players to run at. You've got Kaylee Moody sets up in the number 10 defensive role rather than having Villaroo there. There goes Joseph Dweber fighting up against Marcel Garcia and Kaylee Moody. Marcel Garcia up to the challenge. I'm going to dig for the ball. Slow ball here for the Stormers. Sal Murat. Angra goes Ruben van Heerden with a bit of space. Frans Maherbos lurking, looking for his... quickly taken there from you. Steven Angra. Steven Angra is just short. Could be penalty advantage not being 5. Yeah, there is penalty advantage. I think Jan Kobler might have been offside there as Evan Rose picks up and goes. Warwick Halan looks to try and put that ball in behind. Ball backs into the... Oh, Sal Murat's over! Well, how is that for fortuitous? The Stormers captain, he can't believe it. He cannot believe it. The kicking behind ricocheted off a Bulls player back into the hands of the Stormers captain. He says, oh, well, I'll take it. Thank you very much. If it works, it works. And it worked. Well, I'll take it, actually, to be fair, from Solomon Rapp, because that ball would have been traveling back into his arms. Well, now youe Mattia to kick Stormers into the lead for the first time. No, actually, the second time in the game, to be fair. And makes no mistake, pretty straightforward. And the flags are raised. We could be in for quite a bit of a nail-biter here at the moment. 17 points to 15 is how things do stand. Hey, if it works, it works. Robert's asking, what team do I support in the URC? That would be the Lions. Which 3 months ago would have been quite like, oh, yeah, that's nice. You guys are doing well. We're still not doing terribly. We just need to try and find a couple of wins. We haven't won in a while. And, yeah, if we can just find a way to win a couple of games. We've got 2 games in hand. If we can win 2 of those, we get ourselves back in the top 8. Quite comfortably in the top 8, actually. So, all is not lost, but need to try and go on a bit of a run. It's a great kick that from Warwick Land, sending Devin Williams back towards zone 22. Devin Williams now returns the favour just short of the 22 into the hands of Warwick Land. Does find touch and saves 22, so puts Stormers back towards the 10-meter line there as we go into the final 2.5 minutes of the clock. And has been intercepted by the Bulls. So it's Imro Spear throws out to Cameron Hardencourt, goes to Marcel Garcia. And he almost gets to the tackle. He does get to the tackle of Evan Roots. Manages to get half an ankle tap. But ball comes back to Cameron Hardencourt. He can't hold it on. Warwick now under pressure. There's a knock-on advantage for the Stormers. If Cameron Hardencourt had basically held on to that, that could have been very, very, very interesting. Very good work here from the Bulls on the turnover ball. I don't really recognize these guys on the screen here. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to. To be fair, looking at the age, they are a little bit before my time. Imposter, yeah, saying they almost need to score again to try and I think it's really affirm their lead. We just over a minute left with the half. Not sure I really see it happening. Right, so I hit that from the Stormers. They need to try and get this ball in and out quite quickly as they are under a lot of pressure from the Bulls, and they're not going to be able to get the ball back, and there's going to be a penalty for the Bulls here. Turnover ball initially pop up to Kubas Visa. He goes to Cameron Harnicourt. Cameron Harnicourt throws away one player, still going, just short. That Bull scrum is absolutely immense. Investo Pierre wants quick ball. Villileroux's asking for it. He goes to Villileroux. Villileroux. Ah, oh, can't quite get to the hands of Kane and Moody. They'll go back for the penalty, though. And that scrum is decimating the Stormers. I don't know how Stormers solve it. I mean, you look to the bench, for example, is bringing on Brock Harris going to sort that out. You know, Sally Sunday, for example, you know, I don't think that sorts out your issues that much. And with a penalty, the Bulls are just going to take the 3 points to get themselves back in the lead and kind of reset at half time. Not the worst idea, really. And a very intriguing half will come to an end. David Creel, right in front. Straight over. Flags go up, and halftime score, it will be 18 points to 15 in favor of the Bulls. A very interesting half. People don't go away, and we'll be back very shortly. So we'll see you guys in just a bit. But please do smash a like on the video, by the way. Well over 150 people watching. Just the 32 likes. To see if we can get that 50 like mark. I don't think that's asking too much to get up to 50 likes. And a reminder, especially at half time now, go and contact Ubuntu Capital and get yourself your free personalized retirement plan. Courtesy of Ubuntu Capital, who are powering the stream and all the streams across this weekend. Big shout out to them for the weekend takeover. Go get some drinks and I'll see you guys in a bit. And we're back. Apologies, had a couple of technical issues, but we're back for the second half. 17 points, 25. Bulls have scored basically off the kickoff. It's been a proper start, and that all of a sudden puts them well in front and very much got the momentum. So not the start that they would have liked to have seen for the Stormers, who would have spoken all half time about starting well and making sure that they score first, and they've not done that at all. So Bulls now with 3 tries to 2. And lots of work to do for the home side, who now trail by 8 points. And we've now got to stop and play. We've got a bit of an injury to sort out before we do resume. Right, and we're back and ready to go. Yeah, so good start from the Bulls. Not a good start from the Stormers. And if the Stormers lose today, it's a big game to have lost, because it suddenly means that they are caught up in terms of the rest of the log. Everybody else played 10 games. They would have played 10 games after this. And on 21 points, which means that Lions, for example, got 2 points in hand. They could actually go 8 points ahead of them with the right results. And that Bull scrum continues to absolutely decimate the Stormers one. Stormers have got no solution here. Really goes to our certain piece and can't hang on to it. And Similani was on the break, but there was a penalty advantage, so they'll go back for that. Yeah, I don't know how John Dobson solves coming into the issue, because you got Sally Sunday and Brock Harris on the bench. Maybe even bring on Brock Harris on for Steve Torley and see if that helps. But it's not just Steve Torley. I mean, it's Francois Herbert's being absolutely hammered by Johan Krobelaar. You can see he's actually the one that stands up. And I mean, if Francois Herbert can't cope with a player, I don't see Sazi Sandy, for example, coping. So I think the Bulls coaching box probably be a little more relaxed than the Stormers one, given the fact that they've got the set piece working, and that's something that they can use as a proper weapon. Anyway, Reynard Ludwig. Solid work from him. Bulls back on the front foot. You feel that now? I mean, they're looking for the bonus point try. That'll be on their mind now. First secure the win, but the try will definitely be sitting over there in half. Ludwig now. Bulls will score. They will take into it up to a 13-point lead. Now, decision time here for the Bulls. Nizam Carr, by the way, is onto the park. Replaced Marcel Coetzee. So decision time here. And Kubas Visa's down, getting a bit of treatment. Could see a replacement for him. Oh, that's a bit of a harsh penalty, I think. It's against his toy for not rolling, which I think is a bit harsh. I think he does roll. He basically stands up right immediately afterwards. So I think that's a bit harsh. Bulls, by the way, going to take the points here. Build that lead to over 10 points, and then probably start thinking about that bonus point. Main thing is, first things first, you got to get the result. Then you can worry about extras like bonus points. Those are luxuries. Results are what matters. And a win for the Bulls, by the way, that would take them up to 34, well, potentially 35 points. Puts them 2 points behind Glasgow Warriors. More importantly, they'll then have the same amount of games with the Sharks, but will have them about 7-8 points ahead of them. But not if David Creel is going to kick like that. That is an absolutely awful kick. I don't actually know how he's missed it. I think it's actually hard to miss that. And you can see the dismay in the Bulls fans. Well, that is Kubas Visa off. So a couple of early changes here from the Bulls. Not ideal for Jake White. That will mean Ruan from Marcus onto the park. So both of his 2 non-front rowers have been replaced. So Ruan from Mark onto the park, as is Nizam Carr. We'll restart with a 22 dropout. Oh, no, he's done it again. Cameron Harnicorn's just knocked that forward. He's done so much, so well today, but he's also made a couple of silly mistakes under that high ball, and you can't make mistakes like that. 22 just takes his eyes off the ball, straight into his hands and out of his hands, and that allows Stormers to have a scrum on the 10-metre line. The only silver lining for him is that the Bulls scrum has been really, really good, and they might be able to bail him out of this. That does not look good for Kubus Visa, by the way. He limped off, and now he's being heavily strapped with ice, the likes of that. It looks like an ankle issue from where he's being strapped. Yeah, I'm trying to get that boot off so they can add some. Right, Blockhouse is on for Steve Atole. Let's see what he can offer. Maybe a bit of solidity at scrum time. Francois Herbert's gone down. The ball's available. And we have a reset. Yeah, Gerard Senekab, I think, has really upped his game the last few years. And to be fair, Don Human said apparently to URC, listen, this is the next big one. Especially and he really emphasized the scrummaging ability of him. Said, you know, he's a proper scrummager, and this kid's going to do some damage. And we're starting to see it more and more. We saw it last time. We remember that scrum against Ireland, where we then scored off the back. Absolutely huge. Legal says, never over till the fat lady sings, go Stormers. Yeah, Stormers score next, and they're right back in the game. But they need to start capitalizing on their opportunities. And I think that if they can sort their scrum out, that I think goes a long way to then allowing them to get themselves back into the game. Because at the moment, it's far too easy for the Bulls. Every single time things aren't going well, they basically just try and create a situation for a scrum, win a penalty, get further down the park, and kind of reset and start again. So that's, I think, the big thing they need to try and change. Right on the right-hand side, blind side, and Watchalong's kicking behind his charge down by Bros Papier and falls into touch. So it'll be a Stormers line out a few meters from. They probably prefer line, to be honest, than the scrum. So not a bad result in the end from the Stormers. And Bros Papier, the one who charged down that kick. Joseph Weber ready to feed the line out. And the ball goes down. It's a good line in the end. Short to Evan Ruiz, who wants to build up a bit of steam. Ball available to Stefan Unger. Slow ball, though. Cameron Honeycomb almost guilty of not running away. What's the referee going to say? Notices the ball's available. He's a bit lucky there's Cameron Honeycomb. Daniel Basid, Yoe Batia out towards Watchalong. Watchalong trying to get in behind. Gets away from Mokena Moody. Eventually brought down by David Creel. Just short of the 22. Pick up and go from Leon Zast. Not the best pass to Mattia. Pops it up to Michel Murat. Good. No, that's a good offload too. We've seen Milani. He gets hands to the tackle. It's a great take from Francois Herbert. Goodness me, that's good from the tight end. Joseph Dweber now. He straightens. A bit of momentum just short of the 22 here are the Stormers. On the left-hand side now they go. Ball backwards, I think, through the tackle. Now can Watchalong hang on? He does hang on. Advantage here for the Stormers. Mattia pops it up to Francois Herbert. Francois Herbert is brought down. Good defense this year from the Bulls. And they take the points here, the Stormers, which I don't think is a bad idea. I'd like to see them a bit braver, maybe look to go to the corner. Just looking at that kick earlier, which he missed, David Creel. Absolutely awful kick. Not sure why we're looking at the one to see that he got. I don't think it was much of an issue there. But now you and Mattia will line it up over here, try and make it a 5-point game. Not a bad option here from the Stormers. Right, youe Mattia. He missed that. He's also missed that. What is going on there? That is two really straightforward kicks that they've missed. And youe Mattia's got to be getting that. You can just see the fans not happy. Right, here comes a change. But I can find a move will place. I assume Johan Kobler. Yeah, I suppose the United Vessels. I don't think he actually ever came back. Yeah, so Johan Kobler is off. Andrew Hugo Fenter on as well. So Joseph Dreber and Jan Kobler's games are over as we head into the final half hour of the match. Jubilee gets back underway. Almost well taken from Ruben Heerden, but then loses it forward and it falls into the hands of Jay van Heerden. Then Roberto Pierre as well. Ruben for Mark. I tell you what, I think Ruben for Mark is very underrated. I think he could be playing for the Box, to be honest. Penalty against the Stormers. Hands beyond the ball is the call. A little bit over enthusiastic there was Evan Ruiz. Not a bad touch on either there from Villaroo. So Akbar Amir will feed his first line of the day. Talk about the fact that he's ready for Rasmus' call when it comes. And this time, penalty for the Stormers. And I think that's for holding on. I think it's good work there from Ben Jason Dixon. Yeah, is the call. Ruben for Mark slightly isolated there. Yeah, it's completely isolated. Good steal in the end from Ben Jason Dixon. Hard work as Ben Jason Dixon. I think he'll be quite disappointed that his block call-up last year didn't quite go as planned, but I imagine he'll be back in that setup sometime, and he'll have another opportunity to try and show the Box what he's all about. But that's ball share of the top from Andrew Hugo Fenter. Akbar Merva comes onto the ball, gets away from youe Mattia. Working hard as Akbar Merva. Robespierre taking his time, surveying his options. Well, it's not a good pass from Robespierre though, but Randall Dudvig is aware to it. Cleans up nicely. Now he's going to go to the Buchers and Robespierre. And it's not gone particularly far from Robespierre, so ball goes to the top, then it falls back to the Bulls, but I think in an offside position. Yeah, it is a penalty to the Stormers, and Stephen Unger wants to take it quickly here. Jan Kobler was, Stenicop rather was in an offside position. Penalty advantage for the Stormers. Pick up and go coming from Ben Jason Dixon. The Stormers less than 10 meters out. Now Brock Harris. No other options. Has to go to himself. John Ferry pretty much pulling him into the contact. Mattia now. Mattia's seeing half a gap. Galant. Intercepted once again, going back for the penalty. Lots of intercepts today. Yeah, it's good work there from Stephen Unger to try and just take it quickly and try and get up there. You knew that there were so many Bulls players that hadn't been able to retreat. It was always going to win a penalty advantage, and there is a yellow card now to Gerst in the camp. He was in an offside position for it being cynical. So, big moment in the game here. The Bulls down to 14 for the next 10 minutes. What can the Stormers conjure up during that time? And to the corner goes from youe Mattia. Leon Zas, it's a huge thumping kick coming from Kane Moody, and Villaroo almost lost behind there from Dion Ferry. The referee says no. Bulls players were adamant it was. Stefan Unger is digging for the ball. Even he didn't want it. He pops it up to Mattia. Mattia goes to Evan Roos. Evan Roos with the pace. Evan Roos not going to be stopped from that kind of distance. He is over. Stormers hit back, and this game is very, very much alive. Very nice work that from Evan Roos. Bit of pressure that on from Dion Ferry. And then it's just such a good angle being run here. Pops it up. Evan Roos. Should have piece and try and make the read. He gets it completely wrong. And David Creel, you're not stopping Evan Roos from there. So good from the number 8. And really good work from the Stormers. And Mattia's kick, not good. And that was a big kick, actually, because you get that kick, and all of a sudden you're within 1 point, which means you can take a penalty, for example, to win the game. That now means that 3 points will only get you a draw at this stage. The main thing is, though, down to 40 men balls and concede an early. So a big opportunity this for the Stormers to try and capitalize. Similani taking it into contact. Stormers really need to make that yellow card. They've still got a good 7.5 minutes, more than 7.5 minutes left playing against 40 men Bulls. Bulls now just need to manage the time as Devin Williams goes up to the boot, and really losing to give chase, but allows Youe Mattia, and the ball goes through the hands of Youe Mattia. Eventually Dion Ferry comes away with it, so Stormers have secured possession. Now to the left-hand side, we've been hitting good hands there from Watchalong. Long pass out of Mattia onto the angle towards Dan du Plessis. Now Dan du Plessis with a lot of space ahead of him. Drawing in one. Dan du Plessis goes himself. Good covering that coming from David Creel, but nice territory game from the Stormers. Similani getting that ball out under a lot of pressure. Mattia is starting to come into his own at the moment as Youe Mattia. Unger fires out to Mattia, pops it up towards Andrew Hugo Fenter. The hands, and now Watchalong with a bit of a gap. Watchalong, has he got the pace? Of course he's got the pace. Into the corner he goes. Stormers are ahead. And Cape Town rises as they know that this game is well and truly starting to turn. Very good that from the Stormers. To be able to turn defense to attack that quickly. And Watchalong always in the center of everything that is good from the Stormers. Very nicely worked that from the home side. It's that mismatch, and it's the gap in the defense at the end of the day. You're down to 14 men, and it's the way over here. Now they're sort of sitting just past the 10-meter line. As I said, Youe Mattia does a lot of pressure. Gets that, goes nice and long pass out, draws in 2. The speed at which they go to the wide, and then they just run the hands there, really. Nice little offload from France Maherba. They've had to overcommit to have the balls, and then they just run themselves in. It's absolutely superb. John Dobson will be very, very happy man watching that. Well, as Diesel said, not over till the fat lady sings, and there's no singing yet. JP saying, super try, Stormers. John Smith acknowledging the Galant work there. Barry Brown saying, go Stormers, please. Well, looking good at the moment. Happy man if you're a Stormers fan. But I think, as I said, I don't underestimate the role that Youe Mattia had in that and how quickly they managed to spread that ball out wide. Literally right up the touchline, Mattia, long pass, and that took out 3 or 4 Bulls defenders. Quick one straight back to Mattia. He pops it around, and all of a sudden they run around and find that space. Unfortunately, not managing to get the extra 2 there, Youe Mattia. But so as Mark's Tony saying, maybe the Marnie Mattia comparison quite good. The 27 points to 25 is how it now stands. And a penalty now came for the Bulls. Cameron Harnicle wants to go and potentially take it quickly. I think he'll think twice about taking that. But it's all the way back towards the Stormers 22. In fact, it might even be inside the Stormers 22. It's on the 22, I think it is. So that's a big mistake from the Stormers. And if I'm the Bulls here, I'll probably just take the points, run the clock down a little bit, and just try and stem the flow. Yeah, the ball goes back into the hands of David Creel. Offside was what the penalty was for. They are going to take the 3 points here. Try and bring down that shot clock all the way down to the minute mark and reduce the deficit back to 15. For Kirsten, here comes yellow card. Oh, here comes a bit of a bomb squad coming up from the Stormers. That is quite a few players coming on. Yeah, I'm trying to check exactly who it is. It looks like we're going to see Herschel Yankees. I think that's Master Tennis coming on as well as Gary Porter. Potentially Stazzy Sunday. I'd like to see Jonathan Roach back on as well. He's really, really nice player, that. This time, no mistake from Creel. Bulls back ahead. Youe Matil will be ruining those 2 missed kicks. Although, to be fair, yeah, I mean, Dave Creel also missed a really, really poor one. This game is really starting to heat up. Really difficult to see which way it might go. And Cameron comes away with it. Good work that from the number 8. And Azam Carr trying to go over that ball. I think he's done it. No, nothing says the referee. Then the referee comes back with a penalty against Azam Carr. So Stormers still with a man advantage for another 2.5 minutes. They've got a penalty here on the 22. So the 10 meter rather. Actually, no, it is 22, I think. Where are we at? Vars ons. Barry says, win or lose, stay a Stormer. Peter saying, always a Stormer. No bullshit. Oh, fair. Look, Stormers are one of the more prouder fans out there. I wouldn't say the most loyal. You can't try and tell me Stormers fans are more loyal than Lions fans because we're going through thick and thin out here. It's tough out here. Anyway, 10 meters up from the try line. Master Tennis on for Dion Free here. Andrew Hugo Fenty. He needs to get this right. His Lions have been a bit poor recently. But this one finds the hands of Ben Jason Dixon, who has often been the target man in this sort of area. Sunday on for Francois Herbert. Looking like a really promising running more this though from the Stormers. Haven't really seen this much from them. And it's broken away. Andrew Hugo Fenta is over, but they've changed their angle and been blown for obstruction. So big lid of that for the Bulls. Creel will look to keep in touch, and Gerard Steenkamp starting to get himself ready once again. He's got less than a minute left on that yellow card. And just clearly over here, the separation there from Brock Harris. Really, really stupid from him, to be honest. A much better player than that, much more aware. Very clear penalty. And just that's the thing, it's just so obvious, wasn't it? It was so obvious that it was obstruction. Couldn't even begin to try and pass it off as not. Bill Colo in the midfield, just waits basically just to take, doesn't he? Just takes contact, he's going, okay, shut down, takes the ruck and says, right, what's next? Love the way he goes about his business, this Bill Colo. An absolute unit on a man. Behemoth even. Good take that from Ben Loader. Has even taken out in the air. They ruined for Mark. He reckons he's actually bought that penalty. Herschel Yankees eventually getting off their way to Master Tennyson, who was very good in that 8-man, whilst Evan Lewis was injured. We might be interested to see if we might see them swap positions a little bit. And they're going back for the penalty. Ruined for Mark wants to have a chat with the referee. He reckons that Ben Loader's really basically bought that penalty with the way he reacted. I'll tell you what, I think he's got a point actually. Ben Loader gets his leg up actually, and his leg makes his foot makes contact, and that's when Nizam Carr's asking. He's saying, "Is that not dangerous?" First of all, I actually don't think he's in the air when he makes the tackle, so I think he's been hard done by there. Has run for Mark. I think Ben Loader's foot is quite high and quite dangerous, and I think that the timing of the tackle wasn't terrible. So as we go into the final 15 minutes, the Bulls will be back to a full continuum. We can take that yellow card away. And let's see what they can produce here. Francois Klopper on, as is Kirstenkamp back on. So Volko Low, he makes way. Kirstenkamp's at a 10-minute rest. He'll be nice and fresh. But the first thing they have to do is try and defend a Stormers side. Starting to play with a lot of confidence, desperate to get back into that lead. Both teams sitting with those 3 tries so far. 3 tries or 4 tries actually for the Stormers, I want to say, maybe. Yeah, let's say Stormers have got 4 tries. So at the moment, now they just need to win. So at the moment, they're sitting on 2 bonus points for the day. 4 tries as well as losing within 7, but they'll definitely want to get that 5 points. That's very nicely worked. Ben Loader eventually brought down inside the 22. Tertiary Yanks looking for options. Goes somewhere inside ball to Evan Lewis. Brought down by Gerard Stennekamp. Good work. This one, the Stormers nice and tense. Herschel Yankees nice and quick ball. Mattia pops it up short to Marcel Tennyson. Big tackle on from Ruin for Mark. And then then Marcel Tennyson gets tackled over Yuri Mattia. But Alka van der Merwe over that ball wins the penalty. Really nicely done that from the Angry Warthog, as he's known. And Ping for not releasing. So Stormers with a lot of pressure, a lot of territory, a lot of possession. Not getting the end result just yet. So a couple of very clutch moments here for the Bulls. They've been defending for most of this half. And after that Stormers flurry where they scored those 2 tries, the Bulls are basically just really packed down and just focused on just trying to keep them out. Got that penalty, which got them back into the air. Ball over the top. Kenny Moody will give chase up against Ben Loader. It's allowed to bounce and it goes into the hands of Sandy, of all people who've gotten back. It's a nice shift from the tight head. Now Warchalang puts it in a deep kick, but fielded by Damon Williams. Now this is where he can be quite dangerous. I think he'll look to chip and chase. Now he's looking to run. Damon Williams now gets it out to Cyril Peterson, comes back inside. Tackle completed by Ben Loader and what is this, Similani? Now Stennekamp pops out to Villaroo. Quite a quiet game here. Deruan, so Harold forced to go short to Ludwig. That's a nice little turn of pace from the youngster. Pops it up to Nizam Carr, who's patiently waiting. And the ball goes down after the kick from Harold Forster. And that's a really nice bit of skill there from the Stormers to get that ball back. But now a bit of a counter coming from the Bulls as Leon Zass is thrown to the ground. Stormers having to scramble back to try and seal that ball off, which they've done inside the 22. Now looking to run from their own 22 here. Similani. He kicks it deep, but doesn't look for touch. Devin Williams going to go all the way back. He's got Villaroo for company. I think he'll look for touch here with Devin Williams. Just try and slow things down. Does find touch. So it'll be a Stormers line, but just past the 10-meter line. So still in decent territory. As I said, the Bulls are I think under more pressure, really. But the Stormers are the ones that have to score. So they have to make the play here to the Stormers. The Bulls don't really have to. They're in the lead. They'd love a bonus point try. But they'd rather take 4 points than 1 for a losing bonus point, for example. Even worse. Interception now. Akafanamerva. Has he got the pace? He's just... Oh, I'll tell you what, it's brilliant for Watchalong. He was just short there was Akafanamerva. And he was almost just trying to see if his momentum was going to take it. But surely the Bulls score here. And they do. Through ruin for Mark. Well, that's an absolute sucker punch to the Stormers. Akafanamerva, take a bow. But goodness me. That's a huge moment in the game. That could actually be, the game with 10 minutes left. And spoke about the fact that, you know, the Bulls also needed to get into that lead. It's just so good from Akafanamerva. And then the composure, one phase, run from on the angle, remains patient, gets the grounding in. Brilliant, brilliant work. And no mistake from David Pure. 33-point event to me. He might have mixed it, actually. Restart right, 33 points to 27 with an 8 minutes left to go. Well, goodness me, that's a good line being run by Sebastian de Klerk. A bit of a speed wobble as well. Goes short, but he's on towards the 10-meter line. Brilliant work there from the replacement wing. Cameron Arnicum now. Does well to get the ball back. Zach Berger onto the pop, but there was actually a knock-on in there. Tell you what, the Bulls all of a sudden turning it up. Stormers... And this would be such a big win for the Bulls. It's such a big loss for the Stormers. They will get 2 points at this stage as long as they manage to stay within that 7 points. Trying to find out something about the game here. Yeah, I'll tell you, this would be a bit of a disaster if they were to lose against Stormers after they're really getting themselves back up to they're close to their best. To lose the game here at home would be a huge momentum shift. Scrum, yeah, Stormers feed. Hershey Young to the ball in hand. Nothing now. So first, well, that's what they needed. Stormers with a scrum penalty. They've been under the cosh all game, but for the first time, they really managed to actually give the Bulls a taste of their own medicine. They win the penalty. And with 7 minutes to go, they'll have an opportunity to kick deep and maybe try and get an opportunity themselves to try and snatch the game. Currently trading by 6 points. They'll need a converted try, which they haven't had. Most of their tries in the last in this half have been unconverted. And another penalty against the Bulls. Things starting to go well for the Stormers here in terms of being able to get further down the park. Under Hugo Fenter. Bull Stormers 10 meters out. Ball goes to Ben Jason Dixon, as it always has in that situation so far this game. Now Jonathan Roach almost breaking through. 5 meters out here are the Stormers. Got to remain disciplined. Not the best pass to you. Matthias well to hang on. Ben Jason Dixon picks up and goes. A try here for Stormers. Converted and they're back in the lead. It's been an epic game in fairness. It's been really, really entertaining. Now Similani. This is where he's so good. Bit of space. Trying to get around the outside. Doesn't manage it. Loses the ball forward as well. Chance goes begging for the Stormers. That could be it actually. Kirstenekamp just bashes it up. Right, deep kick, and Stormers now need to attack. Now, Warwick Lunt. Surveying his option. Warwick Lunt looks to try and straighten. Gets the offload away to Ruben van Heerden. He gets away to Jonathan Roach. Jonathan Roach. Strong in the carry. Nice work from him. Mattia goes short. Tomaso Tennyson almost finds a half gap. Stormers back on the front foot here. Mattia shows and goes. He almost gets through the gap. Bulls defense having to really be disciplined here. Warwick Lunt shows and goes himself. Penalty Bulls. Penalty Bulls. Dear. How many more chances the Stormers going to get? 3.5 minutes left. Brock Harris is having a chat with the ref. He's having none of it. Jake White barking into his walkie-talkie. He'll be the happy with the coach right now, but be quite stressed. Got a Chamberlain onto the park now, so he'll kick towards touch. So you can see they had a different option for the penalty, but it's a high tackle. Oh, actually, I think the looks of it. Master could see getting ready to come back on because you do have an injury. Looks like Cameron Harnecombe's going to have to come off. Not the furthest kick there from Buddha Chamberlain, but the main thing for the Bulls, they're just trying to really run the clock down. They don't need to force anything. They've currently got the win under the belt, and Clayton Normikeys will come onto the park. I imagine he'll go onto the wing. He actually replaces Mattia. Very, very interesting move that. I assume we'll see Warwick Lunt go into the 10 role. And Clayton Normikeys will go play at fly half. You could have it the other way around, but given how important Warwick Lunt is to the attack, that's where I'd be having him. Right, Zach Berger goes to the boot. No, Clayton Normikeys, in fact, is actually sitting in the number 10 role. And it's allowed to bounce and knocks forward from the Bulls. Back to the hands of Ben Jason Dixon, who goes back to retrieve it. It's knock-on advantage here for the Stormers. Now Stormers looking at the counter-attack here. Warwick Lunt. That's a really nice line being run by Jonathan Roach. Very good read there coming from Sebastian de Klerk. Now space though for Warwick Lunt. He wants to turn back inside of Canan Moody. Andrew Hugo Fenton now. 2 minutes left on the clock. Showing good. Master Tessa finds a half a gap. Gets your third away as well. Good to take that from. Oh, it's a nice little bump off as well. So Stormers find some space, and Hershey Yankees gets fouled. Penalty, they'll be able to go to the corner there. No, tapping. Go goes Hershey Yankees. And he makes a few yards. Oh, I'll tell you what, it's a big hit. That could be a red card here for Rizim Carr. He's not happy. He's saying it was accidental. And Hershey Yankees, it was a change in angle. All float away, come to Evan Lewis. Now Ben Jason Dixon. They're 10 meters out to the Stormers. Pick up a go from Jason Dixon. He's going to go all over. He's over. They might have checked this. No, the referee awards it. Well, the Stormers might have snatched this right at the death. Ben Jason Dixon. I mean, everything was happening. The snipe from Hershey Yankees. The potential tackle from the Zam Carr. They might even yet check it for foul play. But the main thing is, with just 1 minute and 5 seconds left on the clock, Ben Jason Dixon, of all people, has managed to go over. The Stormers now could be snatching a victory from the jaws of defeat. And the Bulls, well, this could be an absolute disaster. He bounces out of the tackle. Devin Williams let go, and he picks up and has another go. He's completely entitled to do that as Ben Jason Dixon. It's a brilliant appreciation of the laws. Poor from Devin Williams. He had to hold on to him. He didn't. And he's going to be made to pay here, I think. Clayton Blomekes now will have a go here. He's got 10 seconds left on the shot clock. And this is for the win. He can't miss this either. He's got 5 seconds. 32 points to 33. He has to get this. He's missed it. How do you miss that? How do you miss that? The goal kicking today, I mean, poor Ben Jason Dixon, he doesn't know what to say. I mean, he's just scored that. And, I mean, Clayton Blomekes, he was dawdling. He was literally dawdling, waiting for, like, I don't know what he was waiting for to be able to take the kick. But he took so long, he was there in a rush. He's missed it. The clock goes red. The Bulls will have kickoff. The Stormers will have to basically keep playing from kickoff. Absolutely bizarre. The goal kicking today has been shambolic. They are having a look, though. There might be some foul play. What will be interesting is if there's foul play, is it going to potentially be a penalty now at the... Yeah, see, they are having a look at the foul play here. And if this is foul play, then it might be a penalty. So there's a lot that could yet happen. This game's at everything. It's at absolutely everything, hasn't it? They're having a look. I said that. I think they're having a look at that tackle from Nizam Carr. Hershey Yankees is definitely going down, but then smacks him shoulder to head. I think that's at least a yellow card. My question is that a penalty back at the halfway line, for example? Or is that just a yellow card for him? And they still have the restart. What are we going to see here? Oh, goodness me, goodness me. Woo, dear. Woo, dear. I don't know why they made the Blomekes substitution, to be perfectly honest. I don't understand that. I know youe Mateo wasn't kicking particularly well, but I don't think he would have missed that. Trying to listen to what the referee's got to say, yeah? Okay, so it is going to be a yellow card. This is what I wanted to see. So it is going to be a yellow card. And it's going to be... They're still going to have the kickoff. We're still going to have kickoff because the incident was before the try. So there will be a yellow card to the Bulls. Another one. But we will have a kickoff. The drama, the drama, the drama. So now put a channel, we'll get this, we'll put the centers deep. Clayton Blomekes, well, can he make amends? Stormers going to have to basically go the full length of the field to score. to try and find a result. Right up against the touchline, Ben Loader has to stay in. As soon as they go out, that is the game done. Romiki's at 10. Good carry there. Romiki's looking for options. Ben Jason Dixon, who thought he had scored the winning try. Should have been the winning try, really. Now Romiki's again. To Geland. Geland's bit of space. Back yourself against Leon Ludwig. I would. Offload to Similani. Similani steps aside of Devin Williams. Similani, slippery customer. Still going Similani. Oh, I tell you what, he almost fumbles. He does lose it forward. That's the game. Sonny Sunny's lost it forward. And the Bulls have won. Huge moment in the game with that from Sonny Sunny. Unfortunately, can't hold on. And the Bulls have done it. I mean, incredible scenes there. Absolutely mental. I can't actually believe that. That's just wild. Absolutely wild. Well, there we go, people. Well, yeah, I'm just trying to see if I missed anything. People, thank you very much for joining me. Incredible game. I can't believe Stormers have lost that. That's going to be very, very, very controversial. Right, well, we have to see what everybody has to say afterwards. But please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. And we'll see you guys all a little bit later.